And the antenna socket, and of course here our switch is normally fixed here by something like this, which will hold it in, and then you have very often two screws which you have to take out, and normally then it should be relatively easy to lift it here out of the housing. And yeah, so you see it is coming, it is really coming up, but now yeah, you have to wiggle it very carefully, a little bit back and forth, and normally we should be able to pull it here out. So here is another washer, that is fine, and yeah, so here we have the rubber seal, and I've already disconnected here the ribbon cable. So yeah, let me take the camera out of the way to get a little bit closer into our radio. Now here we can see that we are missing a little connector to disconnect here our speaker wire. So it is simply soldered here, this speaker, to our main board, and I have now to lift off our display board. So that is what I try to get off, because maybe something is wrong with our display connection. So that is what we need to check, and therefore I try to get this PCB out of the housing to do, or to be able to do a better inspection. But before we go ahead, I recognized that the ribbon cable over here is not really in its connector, so it looks to me that it is really canted. So let's try to align it a little bit, maybe that this is already the problem. Okay, so I have corrected here our ribbon cable, how it sits in its connector, and of course for testing, can we see it here? Maybe that way. It's a little bit dark. For testing, I have of course here our ribbon cable, our second one, connected back to the display board, and now only for testing it is easy to put it here on, and yeah, let's see what we have. Hello. Yeah, so it is back. So my assumption was definitely right. It really lost its connection in the socket, so that was the whole problem. And I've heard it quite often that it happened to radios like this, and now we can be sure it is not really a serious problem. It is not an expensive fault. It is simply the little connector here in or on the display board. And of course I was interested in the question if this little connector down here is or has really good solder work, and I can definitely say that all the connections, all the solder work down at this connector down here is excellent. So we really do not have an issue down there. It is definitely only this ribbon cable. Yeah, it is a little bit short, and maybe if the handheld is placed to different temperatures, or if it fell down or whatever, so maybe that it got out of its connector. So that might be the reason why it lost connection. So everything else is just fine. I will now bring it back into original condition, and then that should be fine. And if it is working, then you know how you can fix this issue. Alright, so it is back in its housing. So I only need to put back here all the knobs and our antenna, of course, and here the belt clip, and so forth and so forth. But basically you see, it is definitely back working, and very important when you put it back together, don't forget the rubber sealing.